morning, Corpus Christi, Coastal Bend, and listeners worldwide. Welcome on in to another edition of the Sunday Sports Rush right here on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. I am your host, James Espinosa, coming to you live from the 1440 Key Studios, and I'm joined by my co-host, my best friend, my producer. It's Adin Ducker.
What's Gucci with it?
We have an exciting show for you today. It is episode number 137, and boy, oh boy, I thought that this week's show was going to be a little bit bland in comparison to weeks prior because the Cowboys are off. The Cowboys are on a bye week, but thankfully the sports gods gave us a gift on Friday when the Astros and Rangers had one of the all-time classics in the American League Championship Series. We will talk Game 5 of Astros-Rangers and preview Game 6 of Astros-Rangers coming up at 9:30. And I'm just going to be honest with you, listening audience, that segment might bleed in to the 9:50 just a little bit because there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot of audio I got to play. There's a lot of takes that I have with Adolis Garcia. I'm going to save those for 9:30, so make sure you stick around for that.
Probably the most dramatic playoff baseball game in the last decade.
It's up there.
It's up there. It's top three easily.
It's top three, and I think the other one also involves the Astros when we consider Astros-Yankees in the ALCS, the Altuve home run, and then that crazy game that happened in the World Series between the Astros and Dodgers.
Yeah,
where
for sure.
They scored like a crap ton of runs. Remember, what game was that?
Game 5.
Yes, that one was, and the Astros walked it off, of course. So yeah, we will talk about all that at 9:30. 9:20, we got some news. We got some Phillies and Diamondbacks. We got some local Texas high school football takes I want to get into. In the second hour, at around 10:40, we're going to have RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys. He's going to be on with us talking Dallas Cowboys at the bye week. Our good friend RJ Ochoa, one of the preeminent voices of Dallas Cowboys coverage. He will be on with us at 10:40, so make sure you lock in for that. You're not going to want to miss that. If you want to interact with us on the show, hit us up on the text line 361-882-5397, 361-882-5397. Start sending those texts in now. Get in. It's a hot Sunday morning. Tons of sports to get into. NFL coming up in the second hour. But right now, I want to get this party started. I want to go and do some college football right now. Let's get college football going because yesterday was dubbed as Elimination Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of teams that kind of sleptwalked or kind of like played mid. That we thought they were good and they played very mid.
The top 10, except for one team, played pretty mid. And that one team that didn't play mid, and there is some controversy with this team this week. The number 2 ranked Michigan Wolverines, who had some controversy this week where one of their low-level staffers was accused of stealing signs from other teams. That happened. I don't know. Harbaugh's always in a messy situation, it seems.
Is this kind of like Spygate?
It's a little bit like Spygate.
With Belichick and the Patriots?
But except they sent this guy to other games to watch the other games in stadium, and he was just looking at the other sideline, stealing their signs.
Well, I mean,
like,
but
forgive me if I'm wrong. That sounds like scouting.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
That's weird.
Scouting.
So, I don't know. There's more to come with that, but right now,
I think that's a nothing burger.
Me too. Michigan defeated Michigan State 49-0. Dominating win. J.J. McCarthy, he's kind of inserted himself into the Heisman talk.
Yeah.
287 yards, 4 touchdowns. Blake Corum had 59 on the ground, 1 touchdown. Michigan is looking good. Georgia was on a bye. Georgia did not play.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
why we don't have the Georgia score. Coming up, though, is the number 3 ranked Ohio State. This was a top 10 matchup. This was probably the premier matchup of the day. They played number 7 Penn State in the Horseshoe up in Columbus, and Ohio State gets a hard-fought 20-12 victory. Kyle McCord, 286 yards, 1 touchdown, but you got to give it up for Marvin Harrison Jr., 11 receptions, 162 yards, 1 touchdown for the Buckeyes. 7-0 is Ohio State. Impressive win over a very tough Penn State team whose defense held Ohio State to 10 points through 3 quarters.
See, Penn State's always been one of those teams where, like, they're good, but they're just not elite. They can never get over the hump. They can never beat Ohio State or Michigan whenever it truly matters, whenever stakes are on the line.
Yeah. And Kyle McCord and Marvin Harrison, of course, they led the way. McCord was 22 of 35. I already mentioned what Harrison did. The big news out of this game, it was actually Ohio State's defense and the ineptitude of Penn State's offense. Penn State on third downs was 1 of 16. 1 of 16 on third downs.
I know. Remember a few weeks ago where that reporter asked James Franklin that kind of a dumb question. James Franklin was like, that just boggles my mind. It's kind of like a silly question. I mean, Penn State fans, their minds are boggled at watching the ineptitude of y'all's offense. So, I mean,
why can't Penn State ever just get an offense? They just never seem to be able to score. Is that a James Franklin problem?
I remember when they had Saquon, they could score.
Well, yeah.
But their defense was kind of mad. Now they have a good defense, and I don't know.
They can just never put it together.
I mean, I know Ohio State, this is probably one of their better defenses they've ever had.
Yeah.
This year, but you gotta score more than what they did.
We got college football talk right now. If you have any takes, hit us up on the text line 361-882-5397. Sunday Sports Rush. Moving on.
Oh no, I was gonna say
Go
real quick. Marvin Harrison Jr. is gonna be a top 3 pick, and he's a weapon on the field just like his dad. Hopefully, he doesn't have weapons off the field.
Wow, just like his dad.
Yeah, just like his dad.
Goodness. Florida State number 4 defeats Duke 38-20.
Yeah, this was like a close game for the first 3 quarters. And then Florida State.
It was pretty close, as you mentioned. At one point, Duke was winning 20-17 before Florida State scored 21 unanswered points in the 4th quarter to pull away and get the victory. Impressive win from Florida State. Impressive from Duke. They're actually a pretty damn good program right now. And yeah, Florida State moves on. They're undefeated. 7-0. Last night, Washington struggled with Arizona State, 15-7 victory for Washington.
Yes, and Penix was probably leading the Heisman race slightly after last week, but he just looked downright
Who
ugly.
wants the Heisman? It seems like, Caleb gave it away. Penix is kind of giving away. I mean, throw Marvin Harrison Jr. in the mix. I might as well.
Yeah, you can
He
throw
should at
Marvin.
least get an invite.
You can throw Marvin Harrison, Oklahoma's quarterback. What's his name?
Dylan Gabriel.
Gabriel's probably in there as well. McCarthy, Gabriel, and Marvin Harrison. I mean, Devontae Smith won the Heisman a few years ago. Why can't Marvin Harrison do?
Speaking of Dylan Gabriel, the number 6 ranked Oklahoma Sooners survive against the UCF Golden Black Knights, whatever they're called, 31-29. Gabriel had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But UCF played very tough, and Oklahoma almost sold this game. UCF scored a touchdown in the last minute. They had to get the 2-point conversion. The 2-point conversion failed. Oklahoma survives.
Yes, and they should still be, they should still keep their ranking and whatnot. So because they did survive, they're still undefeated. So yeah, and then Gabriel, he did throw that it was kind of a bad interception, but overall, he's still been one of the better quarterbacks in the country this year.
Now, the Texas Longhorns. Number 8 Texas barely squeaks by Houston, 31-24 in Houston. And this is the thing about Texas. They played down to their competition once again.
Yeah,
Some very questionable calls from Steve Sarkisian. The fake field goal, which didn't work, which gave Houston a lot of momentum. And then Texas's secondary, that defense was just getting shredded up by Donovan Smith.
I remember because I was at work and I saw Texas go up 21-0. I was like, okay, this game's a wrap. Like, Houston's way over their head. And I guess Texas went to all brakes, no gas or something like that.
Yeah, there was no gas at all in that second half or in that second quarter on. And, Texas survives.
And then what's up with Quinn Ewers now? Now Quinn
Ewers left the game. He was hurt. And they had to put in the backup Malik Murphy. And Malik Murphy played like the majority of the 4th quarter. He looked okay.
They kind of had to ride Jonathan Brooks in the second half.
Yeah, Jonathan Brooks and C.J. Baxter. Baxter got the rushing touchdown late in the game to pretty much seal the win.
But is Ewers all right?
That's going to be a question going forward. Ewers left the game with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 211 yards. He was 23 of 29 passing, so pretty efficient. Malik Murphy only had 2 passes. He was 1 of 2 for 7 yards.
And did you see that quote from Dana Hort? Oh my goodness, I had to laugh.
It was, pretty much.
Such a moral victory, just kind of lame,
We lost
bottom feeding kind of.
We
mentality.
lost to the Texas Longhorns. We should be proud of ourselves.
No, but the way that. And I even saw the video of it. It was kind of like a backhanded shot where he's like, "Oh, the mighty Texas,"
That's how they are, man. They always have a thing against Texas.
I remember he used to be kind of a pest with West Virginia. Now,
Xavier Worthy had 6 receptions, 92 yards, 1 touchdown. Adonai Mitchell, 1 reception, 1 touchdown. So Texas survives. They play BYU next week in Austin.
Oh, that brings back bad memories.
Very bad memories.
Taysom Hill 2 years in a row just running down your throat.
Jesus. Yes, dude. That was
Manny
tough.
Diaz.
Hopefully those Mormons don't do anything to the Longhorns next week.
Yeah.
Number 9, Oregon survives 38-24 over Washington State.
It was close for 3 quarters, and then Oregon pulled away.
Virginia upsets undefeated number 10 North Carolina 31-27.
North Carolina, I knew it was too good to be true.
That was tough.
Yeah. I mean, there's still hope. They can still win the ACC, but now they gotta win out if you don't want any chance for the playoff.
Hit us up with your college football takes on the text line 361-882-5397.
And real quick, I guess Bama's back in the top 10 now.
Bama's back 34-20 over Tennessee. Tennessee was up at one point 20-7, and then Bama scored 17 points in the third, 10 points in the fourth, and shut out Tennessee in the second half.
Tennessee sold though, it was like Bama played better, yes, but Tennessee just I don't know what.
Alito's own Jace McClellan, 27 carries, 115 yards, 1 touchdown for the Tide.
I mean, I still think. Even if they go undefeated the rest of the regular season, they'll lose. I mean, I still think Georgia.
They're going to win the SEC West.
Probably.
And they're going to play Georgia in the probably SEC championship game.
They got to beat a high-scoring LSU team.
That's true.
But Georgia, I still. Nick Saban would tell you Bama's still a very flawed team. They still got a lot of things they need to fix.
One more score to get to. Number 14 Utah defeats number 18 USC.
Oh man.
34-32.
Glorious.
Tragic. Absolutely tragic for Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams.
And I remember, James, you were a USC fan last year. What's changed? Did you see the light finally?
I saw the light. They disappointed me in the Pac-12 championship game, and then they got their tails blown out against Tulane.
Well, no, they lost a close game in Tulane, but still.
But still, It was Tulane, a team that they should probably have beaten, and they gave up a crap ton of points. And from that point on, I was just like, yeah, these guys have fraudulent charges against them. And they had another fraud charge last night. 3 losses in a row to Utah. Lincoln Riley's 0-3 against Utah. Caleb Williams is now 4-7 against ranked teams.
Yeah, and Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley, they sort of developed this an entitlement sense. Caleb Williams wants to have ownership say in a team that wants to draft him, even though that's technically not possible in the rules of the NFL CBA. But
yeah, check this out. Struggling against the best is this graphic about Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Versus non-top 25 teams, 70% passing, about 317 passing yards per game, and a 78-7 touchdown to interception ratio. Against top 25 teams, Caleb Williams, 51% passing, 172 passing yards per game, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
And I think USC still has to play Washington and Oregon, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might be 4 losses. Crazy.
Bye-bye.
And that wraps up our college football segment. Our question of the day. It's simple. Who wins tonight between the Rangers and the Astros? A pivotal Game 6 coming up tonight. We will talk that later on in the show, but coming up next, Phillies and Diamondbacks have been having themselves quite the series. Is Philly really about to go back to the World Series? We'll talk that and more coming up. Sunday Sports Rush, episode 137. James Espinosa, Adin Ducker with you. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll dive right into Astros versus Rangers. We'll look at Game 5. We'll take a look at Game 6 tonight. It's Framber Valdez versus Nathan Eovaldi. That's the pitching matchup. Astros versus Rangers. Get in with your takes on the text line, 361-882-5397. Let us know who wins the game. And speaking of, we got George D on the text line. George says, good morning, gentlemen. Like I said last week, Astros in 6. It will be a very high-scoring game, in my opinion. 12-4, Astros win. Enjoy your day. Thanks, George D. Thank you, George, for getting in. We always appreciate you listening, my guy. You're one of the best that we got around these parts. Absolutely love the take. He has Astros winning tonight 12-4. What do you have? Who wins tonight? Hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397. Scooting over to Twitter, if I can, real quickly. This comes from Malos United. He tweeted at me at Sir Edward James. He says, damn, man, starting Framber, kind of scary. Hopefully we get good Framber today. Indeed. Hopefully the Astros get good Framber Valdez tonight. They are going to need it tonight against this Rangers team who is going to be desperate. They're going to be swinging, and they're going to be trying to win. They got to survive to force a Game 7. They're going to need good Framber, and I'll give you my Framber take coming up in about 15 minutes. Right now, though, let's dive into some 920 news because we got some things to discuss. And particularly, let's go into Phillies and Diamondbacks.
There's a lot of news.
And now the news.
The Philadelphia Phillies are on the verge of going back to the World Series. They got a 6-1 victory last night in Game 5 against the Diamondbacks, where both Schwarber and Bryce Harper homered. Bryce Harper is on a tear. Kyle Schwarber is on a tear.
Yeah, Schwarber scares me in the postseason. I know he swings and misses a lot in the regular season, but had the Phillies won the World Series, he would have been their MVP.
Yes.
Last year.
And maybe if the Phillies manager doesn't have Schwarber bunt with 2 strikes and 2 outs in a critical moment like he did last year.
He was the best hitter against the Astros that entire series, and now he's getting hot. Yeah.
Crazy. So they win 6-1, and we have an audio clip courtesy of TBS of the Bryce Harper home run shot, the mammoth shot, which pretty much sealed the deal for the Phillies last night.
Harper, another drive. How far will it fly? Schwarber and Harper do it again. 4-0 Phillies.
Whew. My goodness. And if you look at the replay, if you've seen the replay of that, Bryce Harper got all of that one.
Yeah, Schwarber hit one 461 as well. I think Bryce Harper's was like 443 or something like that. Man, I mean, I thought the Diamondbacks had all the momentum after, the Phillies essentially blew Game 3 and Game 4. But the Phillies took back control of the series heading back into Philadelphia.
Yeah, heading back to Citizens Bank Park, CBP, as they call it.
I think the series is done in 6.
I think so, too. And look,
shout out to the Diamondbacks for making it entertaining at least.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the series, it looked like this was going to be a sweep. Yeah. And then the Diamondbacks showed some fight last night. Unfortunately for the Diamondbacks, they did pitch arguably their best guy in Zach Gallen, but he got torn up a little bit. Schwarber was 2 for 4, 2 runs, home run, RBI. Harper 2 for 4, 3 runs, homer, RBI. Stott was 2 for 4. Realmuto 1 for 4. Just hits up and down the lineup.
And Zach Wheeler, he is a problem to face as a hitter, man.
He shoved 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts last night.
Even last year, I always thought he was better than Aaronola, and the Phillies figured it out that, okay, Wheeler's their ace. He's their guy.
Didn't Wheeler beat the Astros last year in the World Series?
No, he shoved, but they lost. He struggled Game 2, but he shoved in Game 6. But
that's what I remember.
He got pulled because he allowed Jeremy Pena a base hit, and they put in Alvarado to face Alvarez.
And then the rest was history with that, right?
The game was turned upside down. Oh, shout out that call, Brian. I think Brian Anderson's one of the more underrated play-by-play guys.
I think he's better than Joe Davis.
I like Joe Davis. I mean, we're gonna play the audio.
We have a ton of Joe Davis coming up.
Yeah,
but I
no
like
slouch
I like
either.
Brian Anderson of TBS a little bit more. And fun fact, when it comes to the Spurs, right? Bill Land is the Spurs TV guy with Sean Elliott.
Yeah.
When Bill Land has to miss games, like when he's on vacation or gets sick, Brian Anderson fills in for Bill Land.
Oh yeah.
Brian Anderson is the backup Spurs play-by-play guy in the NBA. Brian Anderson actually lives in San Antonio. Fun fact.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty cool right there. But Phillies, they worry me. I'm a little bit apprehensive with a potential Astros and Phillies matchup because it would be a rematch. And speaking of that, I do have a note. The Phillies and Astros are each one win away from reaching the World Series. This is the first time both reigning pennant winners are a win away from reaching the World Series since the last World Series rematch in 1978 between the Yankees and Dodgers. There hasn't been a World Series rematch since 1978 Yankees and Dodgers.
Yeah, I always find it funny how, the regular season when the Astros were struggling and, people thought, we're going to probably get a different World Series this year. There's more parity in MLB. Yeah, we're probably, most likely, I know the Astros-Rangers series ain't over yet. We're most likely going to see the rematch.
Yeah, there we go. So we'll see what happens with that. I want to get a quick story out the way. This involves Texas high school football. Shout out to the Miller Buccaneers. They defeated Veterans Memorial 59-20. Running back Broderick 40. Yeah, 59-40. My apologies. Running back Broderick Taylor, 6 total touchdowns, 300 yards of total offense, rushing and receiving. He absolutely balled out. He was our MIC Sports Network player of the game. Miller gets the victory. Miller is in line to now win the Corpus Christi ISD 5A D1 district. And while I was at the game, I had a chance to meet the infamous Matt Stepp of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And prior to the game, I know we're coming up on the hard out, but prior to the game, I was on the field and I wasn't thinking about, going up to Matt Stepp and bothering him. I didn't want to do that. But quite the opposite happened. Matt Stepp approached me, Aiden, and Matt Stepp said, "Are you James?" And I was like, "Oh my God." And he was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "I love y'all's work down here." And I was like, "Wow." Man. And then we shook hands, took a picture. And yeah, Matt Stepp said he would love to come on the show here within the next 2 weeks to talk some playoffs.
You're a superstar, man.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, superstar, A-lister. And for those who don't know, Matt Stepp is like the king of high school football.
Yeah.
When it comes to like reporting, and he has all the connections and whatnot.
He's an actual real person who gets sources, not like Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport. Mm-hmm. Like, Matt Stepp is the real deal. So it was a pleasure meeting Matt Stepp. And yeah, that was pretty cool. And congrats to the Miller Buccaneers. It was a party on the north side, baby, as they take down Veterans Memorial on Thursday night. Alrighty, coming up, we dive right into Astros and Rangers. We review Game 5. We preview Game 6. Get your takes in now. Who wins tonight, Astros or Rangers? 361-882-5397. Hit us up on the text line. The Sunday Sports Rush rolls on. Sunday Sports Rush News Talk KEYS, episode 137. Coming up in the second hour at about 10:40 or so, we will have RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys. Going to talk some Cowboys football during the bye. What does he like so far out of the Cowboys? Where are his concerns? What does he see the team doing going forward? All of that and more at 10:40. Coming up in about an hour, we talk to RJ Ochoa. Hitting up Twitter, at Sir Edward James. You can tweet at me during the show. Hit us up on the text line as well. This comes from Robert. Robert says, it's going to be funny when the Rangers intentionally bean Altuve to start Game 6, and he comes around to score and or blast another home run.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to say it was going to be funny for the Rangers to beat Altuve. I thought that was a Rangers fan talking for a second.
No, he is a Astros fan.
I mean, usually when that happens, the Astros somehow find a way to bat him in. So, I mean, Rangers, you can go ahead and beat him, but
Go ahead.
At your own peril.
Being them at your own peril. After what happened on Game 5, I would not be surprised that happened. And let's just go ahead and dive right on into Astros and Rangers Game 5, because what a win for the Houston Astros. 5-4 over the Texas Rangers in Arlington, a.k.a. Minute Maid North, where the Astros fans filled up half of that stadium. It was a home game, apparently, for the Rangers, but over the past 3 games, tons of Astros fans in that beautiful Globe Life field.
I would say it's about 65% Rangers, 35% Astros, 60-40.
Lot of orange.
Yeah.
Lots of orange. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I was at the game Friday night, GPM Mercedes, so I was kind of watching this game from afar. We had the stream on the phone, and we're getting ready for the game, so I'm keeping tabs with the game as best as I can.
I kept tabs with the game.
And whenever this moment happened, it was Adolis Garcia who put the Rangers up 4-2 in the 6th inning. I thought things were a wrap for the Astros.
Adolis Garcia grabs the ball in the air, deep left center field. McCormick to the track, at the wall, it is gone!
I thought it was a wrap. Verlander served him up a meatball, and Adolis, of course, is an Astros killer, and it was almost as if Adolis Garcia was due to crush the Astros in a critical moment. And when Adolis hit the home run, the kind of player that Adolis is, he's a passionate, fiery player.
Yeah.
He takes a few walks up to the first base dugout, looks at the Rangers dugout, slams the bat.
Very dramatic with his theatrics. I mean, Astros fans, we can't really talk, because Correa was the same way.
Yes.
Carlos Correa, we enjoyed that.
He's a leader. He's a fiery clubhouse leader of the team, gets everybody going.
I kind of wish he was an Astro.
Yeah, I do not hate Adolis Garcia. I do not mind his passion for the game. That is not a problem at all. No issues.
And I didn't mind the celebration. It's a big hit against the best team in the past 7 seasons. It's a big hit and a big moment. And
what were your thoughts in that moment? Did you think it was done?
No. I every text you, I was like, game still ain't over, because the Astros still have to touch up that Rangers bullpen. They still have to go against that.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's why I sent it to you.
You did. I was in the press box, and when Adolis hit the home run, I was at Marcos Matakin, who is a Rangers fan. Adolis hit the home run. It's the 6th inning, bottom of the 6th, and I told Marcos, I said, I'm done. I said it over and over. I was like, I'm done. I walked out of the press box. I went down to field level to start taking some pictures, and I said, I'm done. And I couldn't believe what just happened. I thought it was over.
Dusty When Verlander got 2 runners on base, he should be pulled from there. That should have been it. He should not have been able to face Adolis Garcia in that moment, Verlander. I thought he pitched, up until that point, I thought he pitched a good game. He gave up that solo bomb to Nathaniel Lau.
Yes.
But it was a good pitch Nathaniel Lau hit. I thought, okay, 2 runners on base, put in Neris to limit the damage.
Probably should have done that in hindsight. Yes, I agree. So there was no scoring from then until later on in the 9th, but there was some action, because in the bottom of the 8th, with a runner on first, no outs, and the Astros trailing by 2 runs in a Game 5 where the series is tied 2-2, Brian Abreu throws a fastball that trails inside and plunks Adolis Garcia in the ribs in the back. And here is what happened next.
Combined. And he gets hit by the first pitch here and gets right in Maldonado's ear. The benches are clearing in the American League Championship Series.
So Adolis takes exception, gets in Maldonado's face immediately. And Maldonado, if you look at the replay, he's kind of shaking his head like, no, like, we didn't do that on purpose. No. Adolis Garcia, I'm going to say this right now, and this is a question to the listening audience. Has Adolis Garcia stopped crying yet? Because what happened in that moment, know the situation, my guy. Know the moment. You really think the Astros are going to hit you on purpose when they're down by 2 with the runner on first and no outs in the bottom of the 8th inning in a game they have to win? Does anybody truly, honestly believe that? And look, Ranger fan, I get it. You're passionate. You have this inferiority complex to the Astros.
Yeah.
Your little brother, you always choke and lose in the biggest moments. Look at the 2011 World Series, for instance.
Yeah, Nelson Cruz doesn't know how to catch a fly ball.
Are you that insecure to really think that the Astros did it on purpose? If you really think that, you don't know ball. And I hate to put that claim on anybody. I hate to throw the you don't know ball stamp on anybody, but if you really think that, you don't know ball. Adolis is emotional. He got heated. There's previous history from the series before during the season. Adolis overreacted, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I do believe that the intention was to throw a ball up and in, but like within the strike zone, sort of, because Adolis has been knocking those down and in pitches out, and so that's how you challenge Adolis Garcia in that moment. And Dusty Baker, who rarely gets, and you've said it before, you've often critiqued Dusty Baker for not being passionate enough defending his players.
Yes.
But he was as passionate as I've ever seen Dusty Baker ever. After Abreu got ejected or whatnot.
So after Abreu gets ejected, right, and after the benches subside, they go back to their dugouts. There was an incident with Dusty Baker and the umpires, and Rangers fans also have a problem with this because Rangers fans, even Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Rangers, they're claiming that Dusty Baker was stalling and forcing Jose Leclerc to get cold. Is that what the Ranger argument is on this, Aiden? Because I'm seeing that out there. Is that what the Ranger team is saying?
I mean, it would have never happened had Adolis Garcia just simply went to first base.
Yeah, take your base. But still, Ranger fan is upset because Dusty Baker took his time with the umpires arguing, and then he refused to leave the dugout for a few moments, which was insane.
It was only like a minute or two. It's not like it was like 5-10 minutes.
No, Ranger fan is claiming it was 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
No, it was only like a minute or two. I was listening to the Sparks and Ford.
It was probably 10 minutes total with the benches getting cleared.
It was 10-15 minutes.
Well, all that happened, right? Rangers are up 4-2. And it's looking like the Rangers are going to win. The Astros get a base hit from Kessinger.
No. I'll tell you what happened.
Give me the sequence.
Okay, well, first of all, to end the eighth, Ryan Presley comes in. Jose Abreu makes a nice play at first. He basically caught a ball that made him land on his back, and he still got the force out. And then Presley gets another couple outs to get him out of the eighth. So Dusty Baker's ejected. In comes Joe Espada. I'm pretty sure they probably talked about these moves before. So I don't know if it was completely on Espada or not. But he pinch hits for Jeremy Pena, Yainer Diaz, who's been, I think, 0 for 13 or something in the postseason. Hasn't had a hit yet. Has looked awful all year. The second pitch he sees hits a base hit between third and short.
Nice.
And then Marty Maldonado's position is in the lineups coming up. He substitutes in John Singleton.
Big John, baby, former Corpus Christi hook. And John Singleton works a 3-2 count.
Yes.
And then he takes a ball low in the zone and draws a walk. So runners on first and second with Altuve coming up.
And at this point, Leclerc's command is shot. I was actually surprised that with how bad he looked, that Bochy didn't, because that was his third batter already, because he got the third out in the eighth inning. And so that's 3 batters. I was shocked that Bruce Bochy didn't actually sub in somebody else, but I know he's been the guy all postseason for them. So
Jose Altuve, he comes up in a big moment in the top of the ninth with 2 runners on, and then we had this magical moment. Here's the call from Rob Ford of the Astros Radio Network and Sports Talk 790 Houston.
The pitch. And Altuve hits it in the air pretty deep to left. Carter is back at the wall, leaps, and it is gone! It's gone! It's gone! It's gone! Jose Altuve gives the Astros a 5-4 lead! How do you like that? Most of the Astros players out in front of the third base dugout celebrating.
and ready to greet Altuve. Altuve is the lone star once again for the Astros. Clear eyes and a full heart.
What a call. What a legendary call from Rob Ford. And then Steve Sparks also added some nice little pun at the end. Love it, man. Altuve comes up big once again, and Rangers' hearts were shattered.
You know what's funny, James?
What?
Because I had it on the radio in here. I for like a brief second, I thought Rob Ford said it was caught. And I was like, oh my gosh. But then he started saying gone. I heard the G,
Yeah.
Once I heard the G and he repeated it, and I was like, oh my goodness.
That Rob Ford, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone, will live in infamy if the Astros can clinch the American League Championship Series tonight.
I mean, all-time. He was already an all-time great, but he just solidified how great of a player he is. Jose Altuve in the biggest moment, just another big home run, man, and I was in awe, man.
Let's go ahead and let's pause right here, and when we come back, we got some more audio to play. We got some more thoughts on Game 5, and then we will give some thoughts on Game 6 of Rangers versus Astros. Get in on the text line, 361-882-5397. Who wins tonight, Rangers or Astros? Text us right now. We got more Astros-Rangers talk coming up after the break. Sunday Sports Rush. We're talking Astros and Rangers. It's James and Aiden with you. Shout out to Crossroads Clinical Research. Our great friends, Jerry Plemons. They're doing a great thing right now. If you're 65 years or older and you'd like to take part in this study, go get your flu shot and get paid. Hit up Jerry Plemons at 361-288-4668. That is 361-288-4668. You do not want to miss this because flu season is here and people are getting sick. Get your flu shot. Do that. Hit up Jerry Plemons, Crossroads Clinical Research, number3cra.com. Thank you to Crossroads Clinical Research for sponsoring the show. Got some reactions to Rangers and Astros, 361-882-5397. This one is on Twitter, and it's by one of our pals at 3A South Texas fan. He says, I said last week I was hoping for the Rangers in 5 so they could win it at home, but said most likely going 7 and a toss-up in 7. Tonight, Rangers with Evo on the mound. So he's going Rangers tonight in Game 6. Also, he was at Game 5, Aiden, and he sent us a video on our Sports Rush Twitter. You could go to @SportsRush1440 and look at his live video of the Altuve home run. He took a video of it. And I'll just say this. Seeing a live video in comparison to what we heard on the broadcast on Fox, it was loud for that Altuve home run. The Astros fans took over in that moment.
A bit of Astros cheers and some collective shock from Rangers fans that were
Shock and awe, baby. Shock and awe. He also adds, 3A South Texas fan, that Wednesday's game was mostly all Rangers fans, not many Astros, but it was a midweek game. But Friday had tons of Astros fans. I don't know about that, my guy.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you were there, so I'm going to trust your eyes. Like, you were boots on the ground. I get it. That's, awesome. You're there. That's your first-hand account. It did look like there was a lot of orange in the stands from the TV perspective.
Yeah, and I was watching because I heard it on the radio, but watching the replay, Evan Carter missed time his jump by a second.
He could have robbed it, dude.
It was a robbable ball.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
We got some more reactions here on Facebook. RJ is in here. RJ says, I got the Astros winning in a low-scoring game, 4-2 tonight.
That means Framber has to shove, basically.
Now, let's go ahead.
But the theatrics weren't even over in Game 5.
Yeah, they were not
Still
over
more
in
dramatic.
Game 5, so let's continue our Game 5 story because the Rangers in the bottom half of the ninth, Astros are up 5-4. Presley is trying to go for, what, a 4-out save or a 5-out save?
A 6-out save.
A 6-out save. So
Yeah.
2 innings from Presley, who's straight up dog.
So Greg Kessinger was the pinch runner for Singleton in the previous half inning. So he was now at short, filling in for Jeremy Pena. I believe Presley allows 2 base hits to, I believe, I think it was Hyman Tavares.
So
Hyman Tavares.
No. It was Garver single to left.
Oh, Garver. And
then Heim single to right,
okay.
which drove in a run.
No.
Am I wrong about that?
No, you're wrong about that.
I am wrong about that. I'm reading something totally different. Go ahead.
Okay, so it was Garver and Heim.
Garver single to left, and then Smith came in to run for Garver.
Yeah.
Heim single to right, Smith to second.
Okay, so
that's what happened.
It was Heim and Garver.
Yes.
And Marcus Semien, the leadoff in the lineup is coming on. Hits an absolute rope to short, and Gray Kessinger leaps up and makes an absolutely sensational grab. If he doesn't get that grab, that's a run scored tie game, at least.
Looking at that replay, dude,
It's a tie game.
That Gray Kessinger, for a rookie, play of the year for him. Play of the year for the Astros, possibly.
Yeah, and just the Astros bench, a struggling Yainer Diaz, John Singleton, and Gray Kessinger contributing huge.
Unsung heroes. And then, after Semien lines out to short, Corey Seager comes up and
he almost ended the game, man. He hit it to deep. He hit it to the deepest part of center field, just shy, like barely, like in between the warning track and the grass. Just had he been a little a half a second earlier or late, that's a 3-run walk-off shot.
And then the young Evan Carter comes up. Ryan Presley on the mound, one of the most clutch postseason pitchers of this generation. Ryan Presley with 2 on and 2 out, trying to preserve the Astros win in the bottom of the 9th in Game 5. This is what happens, courtesy of Fox.
Swing and a miss, and the Astros win this classic.
Ooh, it was loud in there again for that Presley. Strike 3 of Evan Carter.
And Presley, when he commits a save, he's usually has a calm demeanor, and he kind of just he does things and he just walks calmly to Martin Maldonado and whatnot, just like, all right, it's another day in the park. He was fired up. He basically said, like, he
said the F word.
Let's go. This is my effing S here, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's where he's from. He's from the Dallas area.
Damn, to see that from Ryan Presley, that was amazing. That was amazing. Like, straight up.
I'm still in awe. I have chill bump. I hope I want the Astros to at least beat the Rangers so I can have that moment.
Yes, me too.
To live on. Because there's in previous ALCSs, you had the Michael Brantley double play, Jose Altuve walk off.
Yes.
And then remember against the Red Sox that Martin Maldonado double play with the caught stealing.
Yes. I remember all those great moments from Astros
and the
history.
Astros didn't win the World Series that year, but at least we still had those moments to look back at, like, okay, the Astros made the World Series off of those plays at least.
If the Astros win tonight, they'll be going to their 3rd consecutive World Series with an opportunity to repeat for the first time since the early 2000s Yankees.
Yeah, and that would be 5 of the past 7 seasons, I think?
In a World Series, yes.
In the World Series.
Dating back since 2017. So, look, it's incredible, and we got some more reactions coming in on the text line. Adrian's in here, 361-882-5397. Adrian says the Rangers score first, but the Astros explode in the middle innings, sending Eovaldi to the dugout and back to Alvin, Texas. I can see that happening. I can see the Rangers taking a lead.
I mean, I had Astros in 6. I'm going to stick with that. I'm not going to say Framber's going to be perfect or lights out, but he gets a quality start. I think he gives up 2 or 3 runs, but I think the Astros bats are going to claw at it, and it's going to be kind of like Game 2, except not as big a deficit at first, and the Astros are going to claw back, and eventually, as the game goes on, they're going to win the game by 3. Something like that.
So your final prediction for tonight is?
Astros 6-3.
6-3 Astros. You got them celebrating at Minute Maid Park, going to the World Series.
Yeah, they're gonna probably another clutch double play somewhere in the 7th inning, like against the Yankees or Red Sox. But I know we haven't really touched on it yet. I know the Abreu news sucks in the MLB. What that is Chris Young. Chris Young used to work for the MLB front office, by the way.
Yep.
And that's MLB trying to get their buddy to they probably thought that Adolis Garcia getting hit was beneficial to the Astros because of Leclerc being sitting out for so long, And so they probably gave the Rangers a little bone here. I was like, okay.
It's a life raft that the MLB is trying to do. It's Rob Manfred in his little Weasley ways trying to screw the Astros over once again by taking out one of the preeminent setup men in all of Major League Baseball.
I have faith. Now, there's going to be an appeal, so Abreu should play tonight.
But even according to Chandler Rome of The Athletic, it's the appeal might not work because you need 48 hours or so, and he might not play tonight.
Yeah, but, I mean, if he's going to appeal, he should be able to play tonight if he hasn't been hurt. I'm hoping it's like a one-gamer maybe. They actually need to win tonight.
Got to win tonight.
I can live with him missing a game of the World Series. But Neris is going to fall into that setup guy if Abreu is suspended. I have faith in Stanek and Maton. They've been lights out. And France and Hunter Brown, they've been absolutely sensational this postseason. I got faith in this bullpen. They look like last year's now.
My prediction for tonight, as we hit the heart out of hour number 1, Framber shoves, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs given up. Astros embarrass the Rangers tonight. The Astros are going to have a hit parade. It's going to be one of those games where final score is going to be 8-2. Astros are going to win, and Astros are going back to the World Series.
I know the Astros are a good enough team to not let the Abreu news phase them.
If anything, it's going to galvanize them.
Yeah.
And tonight, the Astros are going to clinch. That is my prediction. What is your prediction? 361-882-5397. We're taking these all show long. Who wins tonight between the Astros and the Rangers in Game 6 of the American League Championship Series? Coming up next, we have NFL Pick'em with Alex Weister. You are listening to News Talk KUIS Corpus Christi. We're broadcasting live from the Americana Arms Studios. Big city selection, small town prices. Hour 2 coming up. Good morning, Corpus Christi, Coastal Bend, and listeners worldwide. It is episode number 137 of the Sunday Sports Rush. It's hour number 2 right here on News Talk KEYS, 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. I am your host, James Espinosa, joined alongside best friend, co-host, producer, all-around badass. It's Adin Ducker.
Cougars, I love Cougars.
Got a pretty heavy NFL-packed hour here, as we always do in the second half of the show. Coming up at about 10:40, we will have RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys on the line. Going to have a quick interview with RJ. Going to talk some, of course, Cowboys at the bye week. What does he like about Dallas? What does he think Dallas looks like going forward this season? I'm going to ask his take on Dak Prescott. Does he think Dak Prescott's regressing? I'm going to ask it all to RJ. And that's coming up at 10:40, so make sure you lock in for that. Oh, baby, we're still taking your texts, though. Still taking your predictions for Astros versus Rangers Game 6 tonight, so make sure you hit us up on the text line. 361-882-5397, 361-882-5397. Hit us up on the 1440 Keys text line. Let us know who wins, Astros or Rangers, and give us some bold takes and predictions for tonight's game. But right now, on the line, as he is every week, we are making picks with our Sports Rush friends. It is the young, the mighty, the UNT's own, Dave Campbell's own, the number 1 color commentator on Texan Live. It is Alex Weister.
Thank you for the very nice introduction there, James.
There we go. I'm proud of you, dude. Look, let me say first and
I
foremost,
appreciate it.
Before we get into the picks, Alex has been doing a fantastic job with Dave Campbell's and with Texan Live, which is their live streaming company, and they do all the big DFW games. It's pretty much a statewide thing, but Alex is, of course, based in the DFW. And this year, Alex has pretty much been calling some of the biggest games, and it's a step up from last year, I'll say, Alex. Is that correct?
Indeed it is.
Alex,
of course, I didn't really start calling games for them until around playoff time last year, and I got some pretty big games. But I'm definitely forecasting a pretty big playoff time this year for me.
Have you got your assignment for next week?
This week, no, I have not. I haven't gotten anything yet. I usually get it on Monday, Tuesday.
Okay.
So I'll look forward to that.
And what did you have this past Friday? You were at McKinney ISD, I saw, but I didn't quite catch the game.
I was at McKinney ISD Stadium for McKinney North versus Longview.
Oh, the Longview Lobos?
Yes.
Nice.
Indeed, the number 2.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that's a tradition-rich team.
Yeah, we
Yes,
are.
it is.
Yeah, we are talking with future Super Bowl 80 play-by-play announcer on TV, Alex Weister.
Super Bowl 80, that'd be fantastic.
Let's get this.
Let's get this show on the road. Alex, proud of you, my man. Just wanted to say that. Let's go ahead and dive in. Here are the standings of Pick'em as we enter week number 7. Marcos is still in first place. He has 42 correct picks.
We should never let him do this.
Aiden has 39. Aiden, you jumped into second place with 39. Aiden, you
Had a strong week.
You had a 7-2 week, and you also hit your.
No, I didn't hit my
Oh,
upset.
you didn't hit your upset, but you were 7-2. Alex, you are at 38 total correct picks. You were 4-4 last week, and guys, I am.
You're not good at this.
Dude, I have 33 correct picks. I'm 9 games back of Marcos.
You won it, and you're 1-5 in upsets.
I'm
or?
1-5 in upsets. I went 3-5
Wow.
last week.
Gosh, man.
I am horrible. In order for me to catch up, I need Marcos to go over, and I need to go pretty much undefeated and with my upset.
Yeah.
It's a battle right now, but let's get into the first one. Marcos did pick Falcons over Bucks. Falcons as his upset special. Now, Falcons and Bucks, 3-3 Falcons, 3-2 Bucks. The Bucks are a 3-point favorite at home in Tampa. Let's kick it to Weister. Who do you got?
I'm going to take the Bucks in this one. I like how they match up against that Falcons offense, of course. We've seen some better-ish things from Desmond Ridder, but I like how the Bucks defense matches up with the Falcons offense. And coming off the bye week, I think the Bucks offense can do something against that defense, so I'm going to take them.
I like the Bucks in this one as well. I don't like Desmond Ridder on the road. At home, we mentioned that weird home stat that he had. He's pretty good at home. On the road, it's been so-so. I like the Bucks to actually roll in this one. The Bucks go to 4-2 after today. I'm picking Bucks. Who do you got, Aiden?
I'm gonna pick the Bucks as well. I'm not high on the Falcons. The Bucks are coming off they're both coming off losses, but I feel like the Bucks kind of got a little bit embarrassed by the Lions, and I feel like at home they're gonna show out a better performance. It's gonna be a little bit low scoring. I have them winning like 20-13. So give me the Bucks in this one. I think Baker bounces back.
There we go. Baker bounces back. Headline Monday morning. Lions at Ravens is our next game to pick, and I'm actually very excited about this one. The Lions, after their win in Tampa last week, they looked mighty impressive. They're at 5-1 on the season. They're traveling to Baltimore, who's 4-2. Baltimore is a 3-point favorite against the 5-1 Lions. Aiden, since the Ravens are your team, I'm going to give you first choice here.
Yes, and I had talked with Alex about this as well. That game against the Steelers had still put a bad taste in my mouth. They kind of limped by the Titans, and they're probably still a little bit jet lagged, I assume. And so give me the Lions of this one. I think they're just a well coached team, and the Ravens are gonna make mistakes again on offense, and the Lions are gonna what's the word? They're gonna pay that off or something like that.
They're going to pounce on the
They're
Ravens.
gonna pounce, yeah, basically, yeah.
They're going to Siegfried and Roy. Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, give them as my upset.
Okay, there we go. Lions upset pick for Aiden. Alex, who do you got? Lions at Ravens. Are you buying Dan Campbell? Are you buying the Lions as an NFC contender?
I mean, as you've heard me say week after week, I love this team. I love the coaching. And this is just one of those games where I just foresee a very weird score, like 26-19 or something like that. It just always seems to be a dogfight with the Ravens. But I do like the Lions in this one. Despite having quite a few injuries, I like how they're coached, and I like the Lions in this one.
Man, Marcos picks the Lions as well, just for full disclosure. I like the Lions also, man. Look, I don't trust the Ravens. I've never trusted the Ravens. I've never been a big believer in Lamar. I know he's a great quarterback, all that, but I just don't trust Ravens in big games, and I think this is a big game at 12 o'clock noon. I think the Lions continue to ascend and continue to put a stamp on, hey, you better watch out for us because we could be a player in the NFC.
Man, I'm rooting for the Lions to come out of the NFC, man. I really am.
If the Cowboys don't get their head out of their arse, I would root for the Lions. I would root for them. I'm just saying. I would over the Eagles and 49ers easily.
Oh, I think any Cowboys fans rooting for that.
Let's move on to the next matchup. This one is a 3:05 kickoff in Los Angeles. You got the 3-2 Steelers at the 3-3 Rams. The Rams are a 3-point favorite at home against the Steelers. Let's start with Alex Weister.
This is going to be another game like the last where it's probably going to be a really weird score. Brett Maher might have 5 field goals today.
I wouldn't
Lord
doubt
knows.
it.
But this is going to be an ugly game, and I have the Rams just barely squeaking by.
Oh, man. Rams barely squeaking by for Alex. So, Alex, you're going Rams. Aiden, who do you got?
I also got Rams as well. I just think that the Rams have better skill position players, with Cooper Kupp and whatnot. I think Cooper Kupp's going to find his way through that Steelers defense. It's going to be kind of tough at times, but I think that Rams front seven and Aaron Donald and them are going to make life miserable for Kenny Pickett. So give me the Rams.
Oh, man. I've picked the Steelers, I think, twice before as an upset special.
I think didn't you get one with the Browns?
I got one against the Browns, and I missed one when I picked them against the 49ers in week 1.
That was just silly.
That was very, very silly. I am apprehensive to pick them again. I like what Matthew Stafford has been looking like. I think this Rams wide receiver unit is very fun with Puka Nacua. They got Cooper Kupp back. They're doing some pretty positive things in Los Angeles. I'm going to go with the Rams at home. I like the Rams at home. Next game on the docket. And I only picked this game because the score or the line was pretty close. We got Browns 3-2 at Colts 3-3. Browns are a 3.5 road dog in Indianapolis. Browns are not slated to have Deshaun Watson. The Colts have lost Anthony Richardson for the season, which is absolutely tragic.
It says Browns are favored.
Yeah, Browns favored.
You said road dog. You said.
Oh, did I say road dog? Browns 3.5 favorite on the road. My apologies, gentlemen. Who do we got? Let's go, Alex. Browns or Colts?
So I will actually make a correction, and it is a pretty major one in the determiner of this pick for me.
Uh-oh.
I did see yesterday that Deshaun Watson is expected to play.
Oh, let me do some quick research here. Man.
I believe that broke roughly 24 hours ago.
Okay, well, if that's the case, who do you got? So here we go. Bam, 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 bam. Who do you got, Alex?
I'm going to go with the Browns if that is the case. I saw that the Colts are going to open the roof, and apparently they are undefeated in that figuration in recent years. But I still don't think that's enough to get them to beat that extremely good Browns defense.
The dog pound is going to be on the Colts' arse. Give me the Browns. Browns big in this one.
I know Gardner Minshew's the starter for the Colts, but the Colts are very stingy at home this year. Well, at least so far.
They have been.
And the Browns have been very inconsistent. They just had a big win against the Niners. I think they're going to fall back a little bit intensity-wise. Give me the Colts.
Look, if the Colts can get their hands on Deshaun Watson, we all know he's weak when he has hands on him disrupting. So, look, that would be a big, big key right there. If the Colts can put pressure on Deshaun, put pressure on his body, and make him sort of, just kind of explode at the seams.
Gosh.
What are we doing?
Okay. I'm just saying, you put pressure on Deshaun, he seems to erupt. All right? Gosh, that's it.
Solid analysis right there.
That's the analysis you could get on the Sunday Sports Rush. Next game on the docket, we got Commanders at Giants. Commanders are 3-3. They're at the 1-5 Giants. The Commanders are a 3-point road favorite, but we saw last week with the Giants, Tyrod Taylor and the Giants looked really good against the Bills. And according to what I've been reading, Daniel Jones is not slated to play. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys. But I'm going to go ahead and do this one right now.
You're gonna
give me this one. I'm going Giants over Commanders as my upset pick. I liked what I saw. There was some fight from the Giants against Buffalo. I think Tyrod Taylor just runs this offense a little bit better than Daniel Jones does. Give me the Giants at home in the Meadowlands. I like the Giants as my upset pick. Anything can happen in the NFC East. I think this is just going to be one of those weird games where the Giants and Commanders, Giants go ahead on them. Go ahead, Aiden.
Give me the Giants as well. The Commanders look like a very inconsistent team. They're just coming off a win against the Falcons. They're, like I said earlier, their intensity's going to drop back a little bit. Give me the Giants in this one.
Alrighty. Weister, who do you have?
I mean, I don't know what game I must have been watching last week against the Bills. Yeah, the score was close, and their defense showed some fight, but my God, that offense is horrible to watch.
Look, man.
The Commanders have a bad
truly
defense.
bad.
The Commanders have a bad defense,
I
too.
gotta take some positives from it at least. Look, I mean,
I get that, but I have to roll with the Commanders. I get Saquon's back, but the line is still absolutely devastated. Tyrod Taylor's in. I can't roll with the Giants in this. I mean, could I see him winning? Possibly, but it's going to be an ugly game.
so you go Commanders. All right, interesting. We got 2 more games to pick. By the way, Marcos did pick the Giants. Marcos did pick the Browns. So past 2 picks for Marcos, Browns, and Giants. This one has potential to be the worst game of the entire slate, possibly the worst game of the season. 3-3 Raiders at the 1-5 Bears. The Raiders are a 2.5-point favorite on the road in Chicago. The Bears are going to be starting a rookie quarterback, a Division II quarterback at that. I'm trying to find his name. Oh, Fulgham. Fulghum. Or no, is that his name?
I don't know. But both teams are. The Raiders might possibly be a 4-3 team, and they're not.
Let me correct myself. It's quarterback Tyson Bagent. Bagent, starting for the Bears.
I was shocked we didn't pick Packers Broncos over this game. But,
Really?
But I mean, I don't know. The Raiders have a slightly better roster. Oh, I guess I'll go make the pick. I can pick Raiders.
You're going to trust the Raiders on the road.
Yeah, I'm done with the Bears. I believed in them last week. Even before Justin Fields got injured, they didn't look good. So give me the.
Alex, is this one as easy as it sounds? Are you going Raiders?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a week in this NFL season I think we're going to want to forget about. I think we're all going to want to have to cleanse our eyes after this week because, my God, this slate is one of the worst I think I've ever seen in my life.
It's not great at all, by any means, not great. When we're picking Raiders at Bears over Packers at Broncos, I mean, look, yeah.
That's just bad. I'm going to take the Raiders, and thank God we have the next game as the night slate.
I'll go Raiders as well. It's a clean sweep for the Raiders. And then, of course, the premier game of the week. It's Sunday Night Football. It is the Dolphins at the Eagles. The Dolphins at the Eagles. This is actually going to be a pretty, solidly contested matchup, in my opinion. You got the Dolphins 5-1 at the 5-1 Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles lost to the Jets last week. A horrific performance from Jalen Hurts. But the Eagles are a 3-point favorite at home. I will give this one to Alex Weister first. Go for it.
So I think this is going to be very reminiscent of the Rams chief, Jared Goff, and Patrick Mahomes battle. I'm going to take the Dolphins as my upset pick in this game, but it's going to be a amazing game to watch.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have it on side by side with the Astros and Rangers, of course, tonight. So I'll have that one on my secondary TV. So you're going Dolphins. Aiden, who do you got?
Give me the Eagles and give me the Eagles by like 10 or 14.
Oh,
the Dolphins this year are 5-1, but they've beaten a 2-win Chargers team, a 1-win Pats team, a 1-win Broncos team, a 1-win Giants team, and a 0-win Panthers team.
Ooh.
And the only good team they played this year was the Bills, and they got their backs blown out. Give me the Eagles in this one. The Eagles are an actual good team. You know what I mean? Like they got dominated. They got dominated at the line.
I can't believe you just said they got their backs blown out.
I mean, they got dominated at the line. They got pushed around.
Yeah, they did get pushed around.
Yeah, they got pushed around and bullied. Give me the Eagles. Always pick a good team. A good team that's coming off a loss.
Yes. No, you're good. You're good.
You know I didn't mean it the way but
yeah, no, I got you.
Always pick a good team coming off a loss. So give me the Eagles in this one.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even know how to go, but I'm gonna go Dolphins. I like the Dolphins. I think Jalen Hurts played pretty bad last week. I think it kind of continues this week against the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are just gonna score a lot of points. I got Dolphins on the road, and that wraps up our NFL pick'em. That was an interesting pick'em. Would you say, Weister?
Absolutely. This was one of the more forgettable slates. Hopefully the games are a lot better than they look on paper.
There we go. Alex, continue to do your thing up in the DFW, my guy. We will talk very, very soon. You have a good rest of your Sunday.
Absolutely. You guys too.
There he goes, Alex Weister, and there we go. That wraps up NFL Pick'em. Coming up next, we have a quick NFL headline segment. Keep it locked to the Sunday Sports Rush. Sunday Sports Rush, episode 137. In about 15 minutes, we'll have RJ Ochoa on the line, talking some Cowboys at the bye week. I'm also going to ask him some Astros questions. Why not? He's an Astros fan. RJ's always cheering for the Astros on Twitter. The X. So, going to ask RJ his prediction for Game 6 tonight.
Still Twitter.
The X.
No.
Hit me up on the X, at Sir Edward James, at Sports Rush 1440. We got Ryan L in here real quickly. Shout out to Ryan L for getting in on the text line. Ryan L says, the Aggies snapped a 2-week losing streak by having a bye week, LOL.
I hope they didn't lose the bye week, too.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Did Jimbo and Bobby Petrino manage to fumble that also, Ryan?
Oh, Bobby Petrino's on the staff?
He's the offensive coordinator.
I forgot about that.
Yes,
Wow.
Road Rash Bobby?
Oh,
Yeah, he's the offensive coordinator.
that one got me.
Ryan also goes on to say there was a few near misses in the top 10 as well. Yes, there was, Ryan. There was. It was a very sloppy top 10 yesterday, except for a couple of performances. Michigan, probably the most noted, with their 49-0 win over Michigan State.
It brought back memories of when he did that press conference with the brace on his.
With the broken neck, the brace.
I mean, it's funny because he survived it. So, but
with
still,
his hooker on the back of his motorcycle.
she wasn't she on the staff?
Oh
or something?
yeah, never mind.
It was
yeah.
a mistress.
Mistress. It was a mistress.
A little more classier than
Yeah,
that.
a little classier than paying for a hook.
Yeah.
But Road Rash Bobby, the offensive coordinator of the Texas A&M Aggies. We got some reactions to the Adolis Garcia incidents, the bases clearing brawl. This one comes from Rob. Rob's in here. Rob says, you hit a home run, then proceed to watch it go out walking slowly, and then slam your bat. Yeah, he should have expected to get hit. It's an unwritten rule that S ain't allowed. Not to say it was intentional, but it was coming eventually.
I'm not a big fan of unwritten rules. It's a big moment, man.
And I don't think that happened intentionally, because there are some Astros fans like Rob, who is an Astros fan. He is saying that, yeah, the Astros did it for retaliation. I don't think that's the case. I don't think the Astros would have retaliated in a situation where you're down 2 runs with a runner on first and no outs. To me, that's just stupid baseball. I don't think Dusty Baker's dumb. For as much as I question Dusty Baker and some of his managerial decisions, I don't think he's dumb enough to put another runner on base with no outs while you're trailing by 2.
I know Scott Service would have done something like that.
Yeah, that idiot would have done it.
Yeah, but
the very punchable face of Scott Service.
But Dusty Baker, I don't think,
I don't think it would have happened either. We got a reaction also from Joseph. Joseph Lowe is in here. Shout out to Joseph. He says, hitting a dude with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball first pitch after a home run is going to spark some emotions. If it was Altuve that was hit, you would have been pissed.
I mean, Altuve nearly got his face torn off in Game 4, Game 3? You remember where they show the cam? It was like,
yes.
It was like probably like an inch away from like.
Exactly. Yeah. And what did Altuve do? Did he react like a petulant child? No, he didn't. Altuve just got back in the batter's box like a professional that he is. What is the greatest Jose Altuve postseason moment?
I mean, that's going to be up there.
Is it still a Roldis to send us to the World Series?
I think an underrated moment was his home. He had a homer in Game 2, but he had a Game 5 homer against Clayton. Or no, it wasn't Clayton Kershaw. It was against. It was just a pitcher they brought in against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Where he tied it with a 3-run bomb.
Yes, I remember that one. That's very underrated. I'd say this one is up there for sure, but I'll still lean the walk-off home run against the Yankees off of a Aroldis Chapman.
I mean, yeah, that was the one. I called. Remember, I sent you a
Yep.
text like Altuve's going to deliver here.
I was so down, too. I was like, oh, no. But, yeah, so there we go. 361-882-5397. Get your takes in. Who wins tonight, Rangers or Astros? When we come back, we're going to talk for a few minutes, and then we'll have RJ Ochoa join us at around 10:40. 10:40, RJ Ochoa is slated to be on the line of Blogging the Boys. We're talking Cowboys. We're talking Astros, Rangers, all of that and more. It's the Sunday Sports Rush. We love you. Keep listening. Stick around. Sunday Sports Rush, episode 137. It's James and Aiden with you. Coming up here in a few minutes, in about 5 minutes or so, we're going to get RJ Ochoa on the line of Blogging the Boys fame. RJ's been one of our good friends on the show for the past 3 years, honestly. He was one of our first guests since year one of the Sports Rush. We're already on year 3, Aiden. Did you know that? Or we're about to be in year 3.
We started in 2021, so we're actually going to go into year 4.
Yeah, we're about to wrap up year 3.
I'll be honest, I didn't think I would make it past year 2, and I'm still here.
You're still here?
I remember talking to you about it. I was like, I don't know, man.
But we have fun, that's why.
Yeah.
We have fun.
It's easily the most enjoyable 2 hours I have during
For sure.
the week.
Oh, me too, man. Me too. I love this. I love all you guys who show us support. And everybody out there, 361-882-5397. We got some more Astros and Rangers predictions before we get RJ on the line. But before I get to that prediction, let me shout out Crossroads Clinical Research. Jerry Plemons and company doing an amazing and outstanding job at helping the community. And right now they're trying to help the age group of 65 years or older acquire a flu shot. So if you're interested, call Jerry Plemons at 361-288-4668. You could get paid for this flu shot. 361-288-4668. Or hit them up at number3cra.com. Thank you to Crossroads Clinical Research and Jerry Plemons for sponsoring the show. Back to the prediction of Rangers and Astros. This one comes from Josh. Josh has a prediction for Game 6. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Josh says, Eovaldi gives the Rangers their best possible chance at winning. Semien and Seager being irrelevant in at the top of the lineup has totally blanked the offense for the Rangers. Their bullpen is a disaster waiting to happen. That being said, they won 2 in a row at Houston to begin the series, so anything is possible. Okay, so he didn't really give a prediction. He just kind of gave some takes on the Rangers.
It still worries me about, the Astros being mid to bad at home this year.
It's
and losing the
fascinating.
first 2 to the Rangers at home already.
It's fascinating how bad they've been at home. It truly is mind-boggling how bad they have been at home all season long. Like, if you just can take 5 to 10 more wins at home in the season, this could have been a 100-win team. Like, on a typical Astros year where they're typically pretty good at Minute Maid Park, yeah. But this year, they were very suspect, and tonight, Framber Valdez is going up against Nathan Eovaldi. And let's not forget, Framber Valdez absolutely sold in Game 2. Did not have a great performance, but
and he sold against the Twins, and he sold in that stretch where the Astros went 5-1 at the end of the year. The only loss was a Framber start.
I'm nervous about Framber tonight, but my prediction right now is that we're gonna get good Framber. He's due for a good start.
If he wants the money that he wants, whenever he did the arbitration proceedings with the Astros in the offseason,
Yeah.
he needs to deliver today.
Has to deliver
tonight.
Has to deliver tonight against the Rangers.
It's not an elimination game for the Astros, so pitch there without,
You just got to pitch without fear, man. Got to pitch with some confidence tonight. And Framber needs some confidence. What Framber needs the most tonight is to have a clean first inning. Get a clean first, get a clean second, and hopefully the Astros can get on the board in the first and second innings, so that way Framber is pitching with the lead, and Framber can develop that confidence that he needs desperately for Game 6 tonight against the Rangers. If you have any more Rangers and Astros takes, you can get them in on the text line right now. I want to hear from you. Even you, Ranger fan, I want to hear from you. How do you feel tonight? Are you confident that the Rangers can win to force a decisive Game 7? Are you absolutely distraught and heartbroken about Game 5 and think there's no chance for the Rangers? Get in on the text line. Let us know. 882-5397. I'm taking Rangers and Astros predictions for the rest of the show. We're going to try to fit them in for you guys. All right, we're just moments away. I see Aiden back there. I'm giving play-by-play right now. Aiden's back there behind the glass. It looks like he's talking to RJ on the phone, possibly setting something up. We're awaiting RJ Ochoa to join the line right here on News Talk KEYS. All right, Aiden just gave me the signal. RJ is ready to roll. Without further ado, it is RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys. RJ, good morning, my man.
Good morning, guys. Happy Sunday. It's a great day to clinch a berth in the World Series.
It definitely is, RJ. And like you so famously say on Twitter at times, you know, the key for the Astros tonight is to score more runs than the Rangers. Would you agree?
I would. That's really my overall disposition, whether it's runs or points, baskets. I'm an avid golfer, so I have to turn that logic around when I play that sport. But tonight, the goal is score more runs than the Astros. And I do want to say, I appreciate you all being from South Texas like me. I've got so many followers who are like, how can you root for the Cowboys and the Astros? Well, you know what? Sorry, not all of us live in a certain part of the world. Welcome to a bit of diversity in your lives.
Exactly. And that's the great thing about being down here, Corpus, the Valley, wherever you want to be, right? Being down here, we get to pick and choose. You know what I mean? And it's logical for us in Corpus especially because we have the Hooks who are the double A of the Astros. All of the Astros who you see right now have come through Corpus at some point or another. So that's just kind of our natural tie-in. Cowboys, you know, we're kind of born into the Cowboys, right? So we love the Cowboys. I root for the Spurs as well. They're the closest NBA team to us. So I love having the ability to just mix and match and kind of represent the entire state. So that's just how that goes.
And if you're of a certain age, you know, those things make sense. The Texans weren't around, whatever. So let people do what they want to do. You know,
exactly.
Quit concerning yourself with other people's lives.
Let us fan how we want to fan, RJ. I love that. We're with RJ Ochoa, Blogging the Boys. RJ, Cowboys are on the bye week. Last time we saw this beloved Cowboys team was Monday night, 20-17 victory over the Chargers. What were your major takeaways from the Cowboys post-Chargers victory?
You know, I think it's a cliche, but if you had said they were 4-2 at the bye, I think most people would have been happy. I think most people would have assumed a loss in San Francisco and maybe at the time a loss to the Aaron Rodgers-led Jets. But, you know, despite being 4-2 and that being fair, it does feel a bit underwhelming just because of the way the offense is played and the lack of explosion we've seen. And I think that there are some things that are concerning over the course of the long term. And so right now it's a little bit hard to trust that those things will get fixed. Some of, I think, our most optimistic wants and wishes haven't yet really taken hold. Again, for the offensive side of the ball, the defense has been kind of chalk relative to expectation. So it's, you know, maybe it's rich people problems to be upset with a 4-2 record. There's a lot of people who I think would trade lives with them, but it felt a lot better coming off of a week ago today when the Niners and the Eagles lost. That Dallas was able to kind of ride that momentum into the bye.
It was a tough week, no doubt about that, and we heard it down here from our Cowboys fan base in Corpus Christi of, you know, jumping off the ship. This thing is over. The Cowboys can't do anything, and then of course Cowboys get a what I would consider a gritty, you know, hard-fought win on Monday night. You know, all things considered, it wasn't 100% perfect, but to grit out a win like that and have a Dak Prescott drive in the fourth quarter where he put them in range, you know, to get a victory. And then, of course, the defense comes up. Micah Parsons with the big sack, the interception from Gilmore. It was gritty, in my opinion. You got to be happy about that. Now, you talked about the offense, right? And I have a question. Is it more scheme or is it more personnel with the offense right now?
You know, I think multiple things could be true. I think it's probably somewhere around 60 to 65%, you know, scheme, Mike McCarthy, however you want to label it at this point. I know everybody's obsessed with their lack of motion. That specifically doesn't bother me. It's just, you know, they're avoiding the middle of the field. I mean, it just early in the season, it was logical and fair to kind of, you know, assess why they were taking the low-hanging fruit. What with, you know, the big blowouts that were happening. And that's where Monday night really was interesting. I mean, every game they have played or had played prior to Monday night was a blowout on one side. And so this was kind of the first game that went all 10 rounds. And so it was interesting to see them kind of grit it out, to your point. But, I think I'm not really ready to place an enormous amount of blame at Dak Prescott's feet. He's definitely had his faults, through the small sample size we've seen. I think that, Michael Gallup's been a bit disappointing. Brandon Cooks hasn't, fully connected. I mean, Tony Pollard, I think, has been a bit underwhelming. So while I think there are a lot of people who are lining up to place all of the blame on Mike McCarthy, while I'm comfortable putting, the significant majority, at the end of the day, the players have to execute as well. And so I think it's fair to point some criticism at them, too.
You brought up Dak Prescott. Of course, he is the talking point seemingly every single week. And that's just how it is, right? When you're the Cowboys quarterback, heavy is the head who wears the star. You know what I mean? And for Dak, right, he's had his moments of some struggles. And you mentioned not attacking the middle of the field. Now, that could be a scheme thing. That could be a Dak thing. It could be a little bit of both. As you said, both things could probably be true in some instances. Do you believe, or, there's been some major media heads, and I'm not talking, national heads like the Stephen A's of the world, but I'm talking about like guys who cover this team in the Dallas area who have put the word regression out there with Dak Prescott. Do you believe that, or do you see that, RJ?
I think 2 weeks ago was a really low point when they lost to San Francisco, especially how they had hyped it up. And I do think that we saw some regression from Dak in that game. And so, I don't think you can cast a blanket and say this has been true for all 6 games or this has been false for all 6 games. I think there have definitely been points of regression from Dak, but I think there have been points of growth. I mean, you mentioned it. Monday night, Dak was the offense. I mean, there was nothing happening except for Dak, even obviously getting mobile and getting on the run, which was, kind of a sight for sore eyes. But, I think Dak is the longest tenured starting quarterback in the NFL, and so people are kind of, itching and ready to see something. And you run into the kind of same tropes like, oh, he can't do this, you can't do that, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, they have an opportunity to prove something across the whole course of this season, and that obviously includes him. And the contract discussion follows it all, which makes it all the more annoying. But, I mean, Dak has commanded the number one offense in the NFL multiple times in the past. I mean, people act like he's this old man. He is literally just 30 years old. And
Yeah.
so I don't know why we have to kind of always fall for the same old things when it comes to the Cowboys quarterback and whatnot. It helps put food on my table, so I guess in that sense I'm grateful. But I'm very comfortable with Dak, especially, right now in this moment. If not for him, they lose that game on Monday night. And so the great Bob Sturm, who I know you're a fan of as well, loves to say you have to be a thermostat and not a thermometer at the quarterback position. And Monday night, Dak was a thermostat, which if anybody was doubting he can still do it, he certainly can.
Yes, the great Bob Sturm, and also another one of his famous sayings is you never apologize for winning.
Right.
Wins in the NFL don't come easy. And we saw that last week with the Eagles and the 49ers. And, those two teams had their struggles. And those two teams, of course, lost games that they probably should have won in the end. And that's just it. The NFL is a week-by-week proposition. And we're with RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys. You mentioned Dak being the majority of the offense, whenever he was going to Lamb Cooks against the Chargers, RJ, I'm pretty sure you know about this, but he was 11 for 11 for 153 yards and 14 yards per attempt with a touchdown. So the Lamb and Cooks duo did indeed get some production against the Chargers, and that's always a great thing to see, especially with Cooks kind of starting to get going and that nice touchdown pass that Dak had to Brandon Cooks with pressure in his face. So a lot of good things you could take away from what happened on Monday. Now, we are with RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys. Micah Parsons, RJ. Micah Parsons has been, pretty vocal over the course of the season. He now has his own podcast, of course. So, every Monday or Tuesday, the Micah Parsons clip is out there. People are dissecting it. And this past week, Micah Parsons was, I wouldn't say complaining, but he was calling out the, quote, unfair criticism that comes to Dak and the Cowboys. I'm of the thought that just kind of comes with the dinner, RJ, of being a Dallas Cowboy and wearing the star on your helmet. Where are you at on Parsons' latest comments on the unfair criticism to the Cowboys?
I think Micah is completely fair in feeling that way. I think anybody who has grown up, has matured, hopefully matured, has, been through a stage where they have felt, that way. And not to imply that Micah isn't mature. But I think that there comes a point where you do realize, like, hey, this is just par for the course, right? Like, this is just the way that it goes. This is what happens when you're this team. You have have this level of attention, and people are going to find ways to talk about you no matter what. And it's crazy that, it feels like it's been this way, that these kind of silly tropes and whatever can be said all the time, and that people will still fall for it. I'm sure, you all have thought, like, how are people still, taking the bait on these easy little storylines? But it happens. And so all due respect to Micah, does Micah have a podcast if he plays for the Carolina Panthers? Does Micah have a podcast if he plays for the Cincinnati Bengals? Does he have a podcast if he plays for the Arizona Cardinals? I mean, this is just the machine. I mean, like, welcome to corporate America. The Dallas Cowboys are the straw that stirs the conversation.
And it amazes me also in that fact that, like you mentioned, some fans out there, I see it every single Monday morning, Tuesday morning. I'm sure you see it as well. But fans, they bite these easy storylines, these easy headlines. And it just makes me sigh. I'm just like, okay. But like you said, it is the machine. And the Cowboys are just like the Yankees. The Cowboys are just like the Lakers. No matter what, there's expectations. And yeah, like, Micah Parsons has a platform. He's a Dallas Cowboy. I mean, not saying that, Tony Romo or Troy Aikman or anybody else didn't earn their positions broadcasting, but I'm pretty sure it helped that they were Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks. That's just the nature of the business. We are with RJ Ochoa, Blogging the Boys. A couple of more for you, RJ. The Cowboys have the Rams, Eagles, Giants, and Panthers in their next 4 games. Let's just kind of forecast. How many wins do you see out of that?
Yeah, that's the run up to Thanksgiving, kind of the next, little hurdle, before another little break, kind of. But I think they'd take 3 of those. I think most people would say they probably lose in Philly. I think a lot of people think they'll split the series with them, and it's fair to kind of give the home team the advantage in each one. The Rams are a little bit cute, certainly, but down Kyron Williams, and obviously we'll see how things go for them today. I'm a little bit nervous about that, but the line certainly suggests that Dallas should handle that with relative ease. The Giants, I mean, it just kind of is what it is. And the Panthers, the Sunday before Thanksgiving is honestly traditionally kind of a weird game for Dallas. They tend to, I don't know if it's looking ahead to kind of the quick turnaround that they have and the holidays and families and whatever, but that has been a close game more often than not over the course of the last 20 years. But the Panthers are so bad. I mean, it's really difficult to see how that could be tight for Dallas. So, I mean, if they are 7-3 walking into Thanksgiving Day, I think you have to be really excited about the opportunity to get to 8-3 over Washington, and then that quick turnaround 7 days later against Seattle. I mean, if they get 3 of these, I think, you have to be conservative. You can't, I'm sure you say that. So I would rather win all 4. Yeah, awesome. I mean, obviously.
Of course.
I think, 75% over this next 4-week stretch is pretty solid work.
I would agree with you, RJ. I'm actually going to be at that Giants game. Matter of fact, I will be in the building for the Giants game. So I'm hoping to have a nice little relaxful evening in AT&T Stadium with that one. RJ, we're going to let you go, my guy. We appreciate your time as always. It was great catching up, and let's hope the Astros can make our Sunday nights a little bit more special. That'd be incredible.
That's the goal. Hopefully Fromber just gets in, quality start, gets out, and, there's champagne showers.
Let's go, baby. And more runs scored than the Rangers, of course. More runs scored. There we go. RJ, we appreciate you, man. We'll catch up later on. There he goes. RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys. When we come back, we're going to do a quick NBA segment. Stick around. Sunday Sports Rush, episode 137. Shout out to RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys for being on with us. Always a great time talking to RJ, one of the preeminent voices of Dallas Cowboys coverage. We'll have his full interview podcasted shortly after the show. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, all of that good stuff. Search Sunday Sports Rush. If you miss any portion of our live show, you can have it on your phone in a matter of moments. Listen to us anytime. All right, Aiden, go ahead.
Breaking news.
This is involving the Astros and Rangers. This is Michael Schwab. He reposted this. Michael Schwab, he reposted this tweet of Bob Nightingale. Now, it's coming from Bob Nightingale, but Schwab reposted it. So I'm taking Michael Schwab's word for this. Houston Astros reliever Brian Abreu plans to officially appeal his 2-game suspension today. It remains unknown whether the hearing will be before or after a potential Game 7 of the ALCS. If the Astros win tonight, Abreu could be suspended for 1 or 2 games of the World Series. What is the MLB doing?
I mean, I remember when Yuli got suspended for his eye thing against Yu Darvish, but that was pushed off to next year.
There's no way the MLB, if the Astros were to win, there's no way the MLB can punish the Astros and have their setup man gone for 1 or 2 games of the World Series. There's no way. That is too much of a competitive advantage to probably the Phillies. No way you can do that. I would be up in arms.
It makes you, even on Twitter, you even have Astros haters saying, okay, this is kind of weak, you know.
It's a little bit too much, dude.
Like he got ejected. I mean, why aren't you suspending Adolis Garcia for instigating the...
Yeah, suspend Garcia for acting like a little baby, for crying and whining and starting the fight.
I mean,
come on. What are we doing here, MLB? What are you doing, Rob Manfred?
Yeah, it makes
no sense. If the Astros win tonight and Abreu is forced to sit a game or 2 of the World Series, are you kidding me right now? That blows my mind.
I mean, he already got ejected.
What else do you want?
He wasn't even using really in Game 5. He put the 2 runners on, and Presley had to do a 6-out save.
What else do you want? That's my point. It seems like, I don't know, this definitely seems like an axe to grind right here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it. Hopefully that does not happen, but...
Another Rob Manfred incompedency.
God, Lee, just a clown, bro. The
And
MLB's a clown show.
And this is to appease Chris Young, his former boy back in... Because he worked in the MLB...
front office.
Yeah.
Clown show from Rob Manfred, but it doesn't surprise me, so... We're going to have to keep up with what's going on with that situation, of course, and we'll see what happens tonight. Astros and Rangers Game 6. I am hyped for that one, and that's wraps up our show. Appreciate everybody who texted in. Appreciate everybody who got in on the social media. And appreciate RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys for joining us this morning. Much, much, much fun was had. Aiden, amazing job, my dude.
Yo. Have my mic off.
Alex Weister, of course, thank you. And Jerry Plemons and Crossroads Clinical Research, thank you guys for sponsoring the show. We will be back next Sunday to preview Cowboys and Rams and to talk some World Series. Hopefully the Astros are in it. All right, that wraps it up for Adin Ducker. I am James Espinosa. No more questions. We'll talk to you next week.